thank you guys so much for coming. Let's see here, a few things to note. Next meeting's on March 20th, same time, same place. Ben Barber from Innovonics will be presenting. He's pretty cool guy too. Every meeting you guys attend in person, so all of you today, I'll enter you in a drawing at our holiday party for the rest of your membership next year. So if you come to every meeting, you get entered that many times. I think it's 10 meetings we hold. And then just on March 1st, the SBE membership drive starts up. We always want you guys to recruit members to the SBE, but during this time from March 1st through May 31st, you get, if they put your name on the membership form as the sponsor, you'll get money off your membership next year. And then they have a bunch of fun goodies. A couple of years ago, Chris won the grand prize, which is a trip to the national meeting. That's the grand prize. And then they have a lot of different companies will donate. So it's pretty fun. Plus, it's just nice to get more members.
Yeah, if anything with your certification labs, they're doing an I think it's called amnesty.
The Diamond Project, I think is what it's called.
This year, so you go on the website and get it. Essentially, get your certification back this year.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll give it over to Mark. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me. So my name is Mark Raymond. I work with Burk Technology. For those of you that don't know, I work in tech support department, help you guys with your problems. And occasionally I do a webinar, apparently. Let me see if I can share my screen. Oh, you've disabled screen sharing.
I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've had to use it. It's been like
so rude.
There he is.
Sharing is caring, remember.
I guess I'll make you host so that you can share your screen.
Yes, I'll be the host with the most.
There you go.
Here we go. Let's see. Screen 2. Share. All right, you can see my ArcNow screen, I assume. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. I can't see the screen here. Okay. So we're going to talk about our ArcNow service. If you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. I'll just kind of keep rolling unless somebody has questions. But our ArcNow product basically allows you to get your system up and running without having to learn how to do everything on a new system. If you guys are already familiar with the Arc Plus, then it's probably not a huge deal, but there's things like SNMP that a lot of people don't really have a good handle on or just don't want to deal with it. So we provide the service ArcNow. We basically get the system ready for you to basically plug and play. We configure it for you. We send it over to you. You install it, and you're ready to go. So it's a good service to take advantage of our expertise and things we've done already, so you don't have to relearn them. Just get you up running faster. So that's the basic premise of ArcNow. Let's see if I can switch. So some of the benefits, you don't understand IT, networking, SNMP. It's not a problem. We already do. We've already done it. Like I said, we hand you the keys and you just plug it in, you're ready to go. You don't have to learn how to do SNMP. You don't learn how to configure plus X devices and get them tied into your system. We do all the work for you and basically hand you the keys, save you some time. We do provide a complete set of documentation on how the system is configured, the IP addresses, passwords, what channels are configured, how your alarms are set up. There's also, it's a PDF. We send it to you in a printed form and a PDF form. The PDF form has got hyperlinks to the manual. So if you're just trying to do something simple like, oh, I need to add a new user, you can click on the link and it'll just bring you right to that section in the manual. It'll walk you through how to do it. So it's a helpful tool, kind of get you started, get the system mostly up, and then when you get it, we give you the tools to, if you want to tweak something or adjust something, you can kind of learn how to do it yourself, or you can always give us a call and ask us questions. Part of the ArcNow service, if you have autopilot, is we'll design a custom view for you. We'll design these professional custom views. They're tailored to your specific sites, and every site's going to be a little different. There may be some similarities, but there's usually something different. We'll work with you guys to figure out what you want to see on your, just what are the most important things you want to see on the display for your engineers to look at. And it's a nice way to consolidate everything into one view, so you're not trying to find the information you need. It's all right there. And this is just I got a few examples of some custom views we have done in the past. This one was a two transmitter setup. There was a shared exciter feeding both transmitters into a combiner that had two switches controlling, one had two separate antennas, and then they had a load switch as well. That was one example. There's another one we did. It's just a main backup configuration, each with their own separate switches and antennas and load. This one's got a little weather map on there, but there's currently no weather. Sunny day. It's another example. The main backup transmitter just had a single antenna load system, single switch, and then down the bottom here they had some satellite receivers they wanted to monitor. It's a slightly different view, a single transmitter. This one was kind of a unique setup where they had two stations using the same channels. Those had channel 11 and channel 13, and you could configure the transmitter depending on what channel you wanted to broadcast. So it was a little different than we usually do, but there's always a way to get it done. The Arc Plus is pretty flexible in what it can do. Very versatile. So the similar setup with them. This was actually two separate transmitters, two separate stations on the left and right here. And in the middle, they had a backup transmitter that was kind of the backup for both sites. So we kind of stuck that in the middle down there, and it's really customizable. I mean, you can do whatever you want to these things, basically customize them however you need. Everybody doing okay so far? Any questions? Good.
Do you keep you have like a big library of MIBs and all that stuff, or
I do collect MIBs working with customers. If it's a product that I haven't seen before, or if I don't have the MIBs, I say, hey, can I get a copy of those? Just tuck them over here for safekeeping. So I've got quite the library of MIBs, and a lot of the MIBs you can download from, like on the most of the transmitters, the Maxivas or the Gates Airs. There's usually a download link on the web GUI itself where you can just download the MIBs right from them. I know Nautel has got it's basically a portal. You just go to their portal and you can download MIBs for whatever device you need from them. Sometimes they're not that easy to find, but to answer your question, I do collect MIBs, kind of a hobby. You never know when you're going to need something, Part of the other thing that we can do as part of the ArcNow is we can configure JetActive flowcharts and or macros to help get you back on the air, to automate certain processes. Like if your main transmitter goes down, you can have a have it a macro automatically run so that you can switch over to the backup, but before you even know there's a problem. Um, and things like that. The ARC will also configure the alert notifications for dial out if you have the dial out module on the ARC Plus, and email notifications just to you want to know when something goes wrong, and that's how we notify either email or dial out. Um, Gives you peace of mind. We can actually configure it so that then when there is a problem, it'll email you, and then when things go back to normal, it will also send you another email say, hey, things are okay now. So there's lots of things that you can do with these. And like it says here, knowledge is power. And it really is. You don't know what's going on. It's not good. So basically, how does it work? You order an ArcNow from us. We'll reach out to your provided contact, probably a local engineer. And we'll begin a questionnaire. What kind of transmitter do you have? What do you want to monitor? Do you have a generator? Do you have tower lights you want to monitor? Basically collect. Well, an ArcNow will configure up to 32 channels. That can be a combination of meter status and commands, but it covers you up to 32 channels. We'll gather the information. We'll spend a few days getting the configuration put together, design a custom view for you. And then once it's all wrapped up, we ship it over to you and you install it, plug it in, and there'll be probably some post support. Once it's installed, there's sometimes just still things left to do, like calibration of analog meter channels and things like that. But we help you with that stuff as part of the post installation support. So you get the system, you install it. We'll do a remote session, make sure everything's working as it should, make sure your commands work, and make sure you're happy with it before you hand you the keys. So that's all part of the ArcNow package. And this was just another view that we had done. This was I think this was a Gates 3DX 100. It was basically two 50-watt transmitters feeding a combiner. But I think it was all one unit. It was quite a massive transmitter. Now ArcNow is scalable. So like I said in the previous slide, it covers you up to 32 channels. So if you have a more complex system, maybe you've got 4 or 5 transmitters you need to configure, a bunch of generators, tower lights, all kinds of stuff, and you're like, well, I got more than 32 channels. What do I do? Well, we can scale it up. You call Matt in sales, you say, this is what I got. We figure out how much time it's going to take, and we kind of scale it up based on the information you give us. Obviously it's different pricing, and I don't handle all the pricing and things like that. So if it's more than 32 channels, goes through sales, and we figure out what you need and go from there. And then just to give you an idea of scalability, this was, oops, where'd my last slide go? Here it is. This was a massive system that we had done. It was 10 stations, FM main, FM backup, and a digital TV. So it was 30 transmitters altogether, spread across multiple ARC Pluses. It was a big system. It's kind of the end of the slideshow here. Does anybody have any questions or want to discuss anything?
Why don't you talk to us about, I know that you can use virtual channels and calculate values from other inputs and so forth.
Right. And maybe I'm trying to think of some examples. Like one example of converting, like a lot of times with SNMP, for example, there'll be you want to get the transmitter temperature, and they'll use Celsius, which is okay if you're used to Celsius, but maybe you want it in Fahrenheit. So that's a good example for a use case for a virtual channel. So you use SNMP to get the Celsius, and then you do the math to convert it to a Fahrenheit on a separate channel. And you do it that way. And it's the same thing with maybe percentage of power. A lot of times the SNMP transmitters, they just give you the power in kilowatts when you want to show it as a percentage. So to be another good example, you bring in the kilowatt value over SNMP, and then you create a virtual channel that does the math to convert it to a percentage. And then you've got both of those channels.
How complex can you get with the equations?
You can get fairly complex. There's a whole
I
bunch.
was asking, I saw some VSWR values displayed.
Yeah, so you can calculate VisWire. I mean, I use virtual channels to calculate VisWire all the time. That's another good. Yeah, that's another good use case for that. There is a limitation on the virtual channels that you can. It'll only allow you to have, I think it's 19 operators and operands on a single virtual channel. So sometimes if it's really complicated, you'll have to spread it out across maybe multiple virtual channels to kind of get the math right, just to kind of get around that limitation. But it can be done.
On the SNMP stuff, can't you put a multiplier in there and do a straight conversion without using the channel?
Well, you can, yeah, but you can scale it down. So a lot of times the transmitters will give you the value in milliwatts. Like, who the hell uses milliwatts, right? So you can scale it down and say, all right, we'll take this ridiculous milliwatt value and add a multiplier of 1 to the E-6, and now it's showing in kilowatts. So it scales it down. It doesn't convert it to a percentage or anything. It just kind of trims out the decimal places and scales the number down so it fits.
So is that limited to powers of 10?
It's limited to, for the most part, I think it is powers of 10. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Just give me 1 second. Let's like this. Can you see my my auto load screen?
Yes.
All right.
Can you type that password slower so we can copy it?
Apparently, I don't know what it is. Hold on. I'll have to type slower. It's real cryptic. It's password 1. Don't tell anybody. They made a change in the Arc Plus where we couldn't use password anymore. It says, all right, password 1 it is. You were asking me about SNMP. Yeah, so the multipliers right here. These are all the options. So 1, yeah, it's basically multiples of 10.
Okay.
But the virtual channels, these are all the mathematical operators available on the virtual channels. There's plus, minus, multiply, divide, mod. There's logic operators and or not XOR. Do sine functions, cosine. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with these. There's built-in timers for the Arc Plus. So if you want to use timers to time, how long was your generator running? And you can track that using these timers and doing math and all that good stuff. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah.
Anybody else?
When creating a custom view, you have the ability to bring in a web address. I've got a transmitter or a generator controller that has a web GUI.
Okay.
I'd like
Yep.
to bring that in under a custom view, but it uses the Silverlight plugin, which is not compatible with most browsers. What browser is the?
So the browser that we use in Autopilot is, I believe it's the Chrome. It's a Chrome engine. So if
Okay.
it works in Chrome, it should work in Autopilot. However, I think there is a bug right now in Autopilot, to be honest, where the web page isn't working. So don't try it now.
That's my understanding that Silverlight Explorer is now completely dead to the outside world.
That's what it was. I've got it actually running under Chrome at the moment. I didn't do it, so I don't know how it's done. But I would like to bring that page into Autopilot.
Name again, isn't it? On my computer, it's like Bill's.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to once we fix that. There is, like I said, there is a bug with the web browser object, but once that's fixed, yes. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, is performance affected at all by the number of channels you have?
Is what? I'm sorry.
Is the performance of the overall system affected by the number of channels you have configured or the number of measurements you're trying to make?
I mean, there may be some performance degradation if you have, I mean, if you're using 500 channels, but I would say no. I mean, unless you're really pushing the system, like I said, and using every single channel. Could slow down a little bit, yes. But it's for the most part, it's pretty quick as far as updating channels. Some recent tests on some recent firmware, we're doing 256 meter channels, 256 status channels, kind of simulated with this simulator that we have, and it was updating channels every quarter second or so. So it's pretty good.
I got a question.
Yeah.
How's your backwards compatibility with your new equipment with any of the legacy Burk stuff? We've got kind of a hodgepodge that we're gonna hopefully be upgrading, but I know we're not gonna be able to upgrade everything at once. So
Right.
your new stuff will still talk to your old stuff.
So the Arc Plus Touch will talk to Plus X devices. However, if you have the old Arc Plus with the Plus Bus interfaces, it will not talk to those. But if you've got the old system with Plus X devices, you could simply upgrade the remote control and not have to touch your I/O, and it will communicate just fine with the new hardware. And the autopilot was backwards compatible with the old Arc Plus and the new Arc Plus. It doesn't talk to, I mean, I don't know if you have any really old systems like the Arc 16 or GSC 3000 or VRCs. Those will not communicate with autopilot anymore. Those have been retired to the pasture.
I have to look off, yeah, that have all.
We got a stack.
I think that's what we have. Well, we got, again, we have a hodgepodge, depending on what site you go out to. So
Yeah.
we are in the state, 16s last year.
Are you familiar with the RF Scout?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is there SNMP available for that?
RF Scout, no. But it does support the Plus X protocol. So if you have an Arc Plus, you can add the RF Scout to your Arc Plus, just like any other Plus X device. So you can integrate it into the Arc Plus that way. But it doesn't support SNMP. I think the only product they have that does support SNMP is the new dual switch controller. Any other questions?
Anybody else?
Do you have anything else?
I do not. That was the entirety of my presentation.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet, to the point, you know?
Appreciate it. Going to, if I can remember how, take back as host.
I'll see, I'll stop my share.
Reclaim host. There we go. Ah. Cool. Well then, thanks so much for joining us. We
Yeah, no
appreciate-
problem. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. This isn't something I do, so.
When we call,
Yes, thank you.
that's big.
What's that?
Thanks for helping us when we called.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I've probably talked to, at least, I know I've talked to Amanda.
Yep.
I don't know any of your other names, but I'm sure I've talked to you at some point. But yeah, we're here to help. So you got a problem, don't pound your head against the wall too long. It's very easy to do.
We promise.
Oh, we got problems.
No, I said we promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't wait too long to call.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys, if you got anything else, we'll wrap this up, I think.
Yeah, I'll just do my closing.
You do your what?
I have on the paper, all these people, all these companies, they're kind enough to sponsor our chapter. Allowing us to buy our lunches and host other events. So just remember them. Whenever you guys are, looking for stuff. I need to get Burk to join us, but whatever, they don't like us that much, I guess.
Come on, hey, what did somebody say something about food? Because I'm in. Because I'm in. If there's food involved, I'm in. I'll talk to Pete. I'll get him. I'll rope him in.
But yeah, we hope to see you guys on, what did I say, March 20th? It'll no doubt be another fun meeting. So
Woohoo!
thank you, Mark.
Thanks,
All right.
Mark.
Adios, guys. Take care.